My daughter is back in school and I'm sending her with her lunchbox every day. Now, one of her favorite snacks are crackers. So I could, of course, buy them at the grocery store, but I could also just make them at home. It's so easy, and these are delicious and way more nutritious without any added preservatives, fillers, or low quality oils. So today I'm going to show you how to make these crispy pumpkin seed crackers that are perfect for snackers of all ages. To make this recipe, we're using my food processor. This is one of my favorite kitchen appliances. It makes life so much easier and allows you to make your own crackers and dips and things like that at home. I'm adding 2/3 a cup of pumpkin seeds. Now, if you are cooking this along with me, you'll notice that I'm actually doubling the recipe today. And if you haven't seen the recipe, it is linked in the description box, and there's a QR code on the screen. Place your lid back on the food processor, and we're gonna blend these pumpkin seeds until they are fine-ish flour, okay? Okay, it looks pretty good. We're not going to be able to get a perfectly fine flour with the food processor, but what you're looking for is it to be kind of like the texture of sand. We're going to add some actual spelt flour in a minute, but it smells so good. You know, I used raw pumpkin seeds for this, not toasted, and a couple of reasons I love pumpkin seeds. They're rich in protein, rich in fiber, and they're also a great source of plant-based iron and zinc. Now, iron, we all know it's good for the oxygenating of our blood, but zinc is wonderful for supporting a healthy immune system. I love pumpkin seeds for these crackers because they also have a nice earthy, nutty taste. But if you don't have pumpkin seeds, you can use sunflower seeds, you can use almonds, or you could use sesame seeds, which I saved these to sprinkle some on top. But any nut or seed should work for this recipe just fine. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients straight to the food processor, starting with 1 1/3 cups of spelt flour. Spelt is an ancient non-hybridized version of wheat, and a lot of people claim that spelt is a lot easier to digest compared to conventional modern wheat. I really don't have any problem digesting either, but I like that spelt is an ancient wheat. I feel like I'm kind of going back to the source when I eat this. We need 1 1/3 cup of spelt. All right, next up, nutritional yeast. It looks like I need to buy some more. This is all I have left. I love this ingredient because it gives any dish or crackers a cheesy, umami, savory flavor. Now, fun thing about nutritional yeast is it's also a good source of protein, complete protein. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast contains 5 grams of protein. Like, who would have guessed something that is essentially a spice would have so much protein? Plus, it's fortified with B vitamins, including vitamin B12, which is really important for vegans to get. So we're adding 1/4 cup of this nutritional yeast. Now let's add our last dry ingredients: garlic powder, salt, and baking powder. Now let's pop this lid on and pulse it a couple times to blend the dry ingredients together. Vroom, vroom, vroom. When everything is blended, the flour it'll mostly look like flour, but it'll be a little bit darker because it's got those pumpkin seeds, and that nutritional yeast comes in larger flakes, so that should be evenly distributed. You want to make sure that there are no chunks of any of those ingredients because otherwise that just wouldn't be as good. You want everything to be well blended. Now we're going to add our olive oil. Excuse the weather outside. It is raining and storming, so you might hear some of that. It's August in Atlanta, so you know, we deal with this quite often. So I added 1/3 cup of olive oil, and in the recipe you'll notice that I wrote avocado oil. Actually, either works just fine. Just avocado oil has a neutral taste, and olive oil tastes like olive oil, but I really love them both. These days I'm mostly only doing extra virgin olive oil for all of my cooking. So use whatever is best for you. Once again, we're going to use the food processor to pulse the ingredients together, all right? So a couple pulses until it's nice and wet. And we're looking for it to be the texture of like wet sand, but I'm also going to scrape down the sides a little. And I'll pulse one more time before we add our cold water to bring it all together. All right, lastly, we're adding our iced water. So I just got some refrigerated water and put some ice cubes in it. This is going to help hold everything together. Okay. And that's it. We just wanted to pulse it to combine it until we have a nice batter that is kind of wet, not too sticky, but holds together when you press it in the palm of your hand. All right, let's clean off our workspace. Make some space to roll these crackers flat, okay? All right, clean surface. We're, of course, baking the crackers on parchment paper, but let's also roll it out on parchment paper because it's not gonna work if we roll it out straight on the counter. And make sure you're using parchment paper and not wax paper. Wax paper is more for like, you know, if you've got something going to the freezer and you wanna put something in between to keep it from sticking together, but wax paper is not intended for the oven. So let's take our batter out of our food processor, and I'm going to use my hands to form it into a ball and then cut it in half because we're doing 2 batches. So as much as possible, it's going to stick together. Okay. Kind of shape it with my hands as much as I can because I'm going to cut this in half, okay? That's pretty good. It doesn't have to be like perfect cut in half, but let me get something. Here we go. We're gonna eyeball it about 50-50. Okay, looks good. I'm gonna do this one first, just put the other one aside. And now on our parchment, I'm going to try to scoop up all of the crumbs because I don't want anything to go to waste, all right? And form it with your hands into a tight ball. Use the stickiness to get up the crumbs. I think that's pretty good. And then I'm going to kind of flatten it a little bit to help me roll it, okay? Not completely, but like so. All right, now I'm gonna take another piece of parchment paper and put it right on top. That's gonna be between the crackers and the rolling pin so that rolling pin doesn't stick. Ooh, I probably should use scissors for that. It'll do. So, parchment paper on top of your dough and use your rolling pin to roll it as flat as you can. We're going for about the thickness of a quarter. Now the thinner you roll it, the crispier the crackers will be and the faster they'll cook. I can kind of eyeball it or feel it. So when you get to the corners, if there's any runoff, I just pinch it off and put it somewhere else. Because ideally you want to have it in like a rectangular shape or an oval shape so that when you cut it, you have uniform, you know, like straight edge pieces. So, you know, do the best you can. It's okay to have jagged pieces, but you know, I kind of like most of them for myself, most of them to be square. Okay, I think it is perfectly flat. Again, the flatter, the crispier, okay? So keep that in mind. I like it really crispy, so extra flat. Take off this parchment paper, and I'm using a pizza cutter to cut this into squares, all right? So I'm gonna go this way, and then I'm gonna go that way with this guy. Before we slice it, let's add some crunchy Maldon salt. Maldon salt is just flaky, large salt pieces. They're actually not as salty as regular salt, like sea salt, but they have a little bit of a sweetness. It has a little bit of a sweetness to it, believe it or not. It's a finishing salt. That's what we call this, a finishing salt. And I like it on top of my crackers. Other options for cracker toppers would be sesame seeds. You can sprinkle some on top, or you could even add more of the pumpkin seeds to the top of the cracker and just press them in gently, like I'm gonna do with this salt, before or really after you slice them. I find that it's just a little easier to press it before I slice it before it has the grid marks, you know? And just pressing it so that when you put the crackers in a jar to enjoy for the week, all the salt or whatever topping doesn't fall off. All right, uniform cuts are best because they will cook evenly and crisp up and be done at the same time. But I'm not using a ruler or anything special. I'm just eyeballing it, which is usually just fine. Try to keep them around the same size, of course. Okay. And one little last thing, we're gonna take a fork and prick the center of all the crackers, just to allow the air to escape so they don't puff up too much, and so that they will actually get crispy. They won't hold too much air in the center and moisture. And the oven is already turned on. I've preheated it. Let's transfer this to my baking sheet. All right, let's be careful, hold it taut, and voila, onto the baking sheet. Let's bake this for 15 minutes. Crackers are ready. Let's grab them out of the oven. Ooh, looking good. Ooh, yeah, I think they're nice and crispy. I'm gonna transfer these crackers to this cooling rack, all right? Oh, perfect. There we go. Now they can cool down, and as they cool down, they'll get nice and crispy. I know I'm gonna send baby J with these for her afternoon snack at school, but ooh, they're pretty hot. Let them cool down first. Now the crackers are nice and cool and nice and crispy, of course. You can store them in an airtight container for up to a week and enjoy them throughout the week for your snacks, late night snacks, munching, snacking and snacking. I actually am gonna serve it right now with some sweet potato hummus and a little bit of crudité. These crackers are perfect with this. Now, baby J, she loves to take crackers to school, and for after school snacks, she loves to dip them in hummus. So consider that healthy combo if you're making these for your kids or for yourself or for anyone that you love. If you're a parent or grandparent or just someone who loves the children in your life and you're looking for more healthy food options, check out the resources that I shared in the description box down below, including our kids' lunchbox meal plan. It's a great place to get started introducing your kids to healthier options. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.